Brixton is fitted with a Delphi ECU, and as soon as you turn on your contact, you might see that little engine sign there, the yellow light. That's the kind of light that indicates that the ECU has logged an error, so something is wrong with the vehicle. And then you will have to clear it up. And it is very annoying to find out what is the exact problem. And I'm going to show you how you can diagnose it. Hi fellows, and welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about reading out the error codes out of the ECU of a Brixton 125cc. You all have seen these yellow engine lights in your instrument cluster indicating that there is a fault logged on your ECU, and it can be very annoying because you don't know what the fault is, but if you were able to read out that error code, then at least it would tell you where to look for and how to troubleshoot it. Now, of course, you can take your bike to the dealership and have them do all this work, but this is so easy to do it yourself. So, like most of us, we are fans and we like bikes, we like mechanics, so why not do it yourself? But before we start, you have to remove the saddle, and there's two screws in the back you need to undo, and then you can lift off the saddle. You've seen this in another video, so I'm not going to show you that again. Underneath the saddle, you will find the ECU. And the ECU is an MT5-2 made by Delphi. And it has a diagnostics connector. The ECU is fitted right here, just behind the gas tank. And the diagnostics connector is over there. So look in between the battery and the frame, and it's sitting over there. And you'll see it, it's been plugged up with this kind of a connector. Now the good thing is, this connector you can later use to make a proper cable. So don't throw this away, keep it aside. What I've done is I got a fairly cheap €40 OBD2 EOBD can tester, and again, you find it on the internet. I will give you an address where you can find it, and the model I'm using is the OM123 from AutoFix. Very cheap stuff, €40. It isn't much, it's just a couple of packs of cigarettes, and it will tell you a lot of stuff of what's going on. And it has obviously a OBD connector, which is this big black connector. Now the black connector doesn't fit to your diagnostics plug of your Brixton. So I patched a few wires and the red wire, and I'll show you that later on, is connected to the plus 12 volts of the diagnostics plug, and the white one is my ground, and then the yellow one is my K line. Now the K line is the protocol, it's a serial protocol called KW2000. It's a standard to read out codes from your ECU. So once you've got all this plugged up, this is a bit of a close-up, and here you have the OBD3 connector, and then in the back you have your diagnostics connector. And again, I will show you the diagram, or you can even ask me to provide you with a cable, because I could possibly do that together with the tester if you're interested in it. But anyhow, drop me a comment if that's what you would like. And then all you need to do is plug it in and turn it on. So let me zoom in a bit on this device so you can actually see it properly, and then we talk a bit about it. Alright, so we've got the diagnostics connector connected to the ECU, and now we just need to turn on the ignition. Don't start the bike, just turn it on. And you'll see that the unit lights up immediately. So as soon as the ignition is on, you will get this sign. So now enter any key, and it will start scanning for the proper protocol, and you see it running through the different communication protocols on the vehicle. And right now it's trying the 9141-2, which we know it isn't. And now we're ending up on the KWP2000, and guess what? It just found it. And now we see the system status. And you can read the error codes, so just hit enter, and it's going to read the stored codes, right? No codes are stored in the module, so I know this bike is error-free, so of course it has none. And let's see if it has any pending codes. And it has no pending codes. So that's good. So exit to go back, exit, and then you can erase the codes. So if you have a problem. You can erase it. You can also look at live data. And the bike is not running right now, but let's look at live data anyway. So the PIDs are all the identities that you find on OBD2, and it's in hexadecimal. So here you see a couple of interesting things: fuel system, load in percentage. But right now, we don't have much. So this one is the environmental temperature, the ETC in degrees centigrade. It's 27 degrees centigrade, and that's the temperature we are having here. So it's fairly hot, and you can go on like this. And if you have seen enough on it, then you can go back. In fact, you can even see the RPMs. So here we go. This is the map. This is the manifold absolute pressure in kilopascal, and it's 85. This is the environmental pressure that we have right now for the moment. Of course, RPMs just below. There is nothing on it because we have no RPMs at this moment in time. Speed, we don't have anything either. So you can see all those things, which is quite neat. Now, obviously, if I start up the bike, I will be able to read more data. So let's try to read some live data. So let's check the load PCT. It sounds like a fancy word, but all what it is your gas throttle. So I'm going to give some throttle, see how that goes up. If I go full throttle, I'm at 100%. If I let go back, let's look at some live data, and we'll be looking at RPMs and the map. But therefore, I have to start the bike. Now let's look at the ignition, the spark plug advance. That might be interesting. See how the advance is changing. So these are all normal behaviors and all driven by the fuel map and the sensors that we have on the bike. There we go. That's disconnected. Now let's see. So let's turn on the ignition. All right, any key. And it found already one code. So I'm going to read the codes. Stored codes. So throttle pedal position, sensor switch A low. So let's try to start the bike and see what happens. I reconnected the connector, and let's see if we can start it up. And guess what? The famous engine light is on, the malfunction light is on. The bike works fine. Nothing wrong with the bike. The connector is back on. However, the light is still on. That's because the fault is stored. So now we're going to clear the fault. So let's go and read the codes. It has stored codes. So that's the throttle pedal position sensor, switch A circuit low. The middle status light is on. You can see it actually. Huh? We've seen that. And we now are going to erase the codes. Erase trouble codes. Are you sure? Yes. Erase done. So now the light should be off on the bike. So let's check it. All right, let's turn on the ignition key. Obviously the light should come on now because that's quite normal. Let's start it. And guess what? The light is gone. No more. Problem fixed. That's how easy you can clear problems on your Brixton with a very simple tool, which is only costing you 40 euros. Alright guys, you've seen now on how you can read out error codes on your bike, on how you can clear the error codes. You've seen me disconnecting a sensor, then you saw the fault being stored, then we saw the light on the display that stayed on, we then cleared the fault and then the light disappeared and so on. So you can check RPMs, temperatures, you can check the sensor. I showed you a little demonstration with the gas throttle on how you can verify that all that is working. So that tool is a very little handy tool. If you send me a comment or you place a comment, then I will respond back with all the details of that specific device, where you can get it and so on, because I'm not making a commercial. I just went out and bought a cheap one because I didn't want to invest too much money, but I'm also building an app for an Android and an iPhone, so you won't need this orange box anymore. But that's something for later because it isn't ready yet. I'm still suffering with the code, but I'm getting there. Anyhow, have a great day and I'll see you in my next video. And keep enjoying your Brixton. Bye bye.